Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at this right here, which has got me super excited because this is a real grade kit. And every time we see a new real grade kit, they just seem to keep on evolving. And honestly, I never thought what we'd be getting next is the Zeong. If you are not familiar with the Zeong, it is from the original Gundam series. It was essentially the last big bad guy. And this isn't the standard real grade set right here. This is the Mobile Suit Gundam Last Shooting Zeong effect set. So this is the standard real grade Zeong with a whole bunch of extra effect parts. As usual, this video right here would not have been possible without those absolutely awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan, and they did mention to me that this one will not be available again. So the standard version will be, the Last Shooting effect set will not be. But anyway, there is a link down there in the description. Now here we go. So anyway, just to start this off, there's the overview of absolutely everything that comes in this box, and this is a lot. Not only do we get the standard real grade Zeong with the standard real grade Zeong's accessories, we also get a bunch of effect parts, and I mean a whole lot of effect parts, some of which are for using with the real grade RX-78-2 Gundam. So if you don't have that, you may need to get one of those as well. I don't have one. And we also get a bit of a backdrop, but hey, that's enough of looking at it. Let's get right into it with the Zeong itself. So anyway, getting right into it, and there is the real grade Zeong out of the box, just snapped together with a little bit of extra effort. So as for the non-in-box effort I put into this, that was just some basic panel lining using the fine tip style Gundam markers. That is it. This is the simplest way to panel line a kit. Scribble it into the lines, rub it off with your finger, that is all that I did. It really is a testament to just how beautiful this kit is that with such minimal effort, it can shine so brightly. Also, I will mention, those hands are fantastic. I'll be getting back to those later, but those can hold up the markers, no bother. Super impressive. As for the inbox effort, it was just these guys right here, the standard real grade style stickers. I did not use them all, I used most of them because I got super carried away. I loved it. These are super easy to apply, they look beautiful. We've got some in a nice metallic copper, we've got some in a nice metallic silver, and in general they look quite good. There are a few that could be a bit better. They do kind of hang over edges, the usual sticker issues, but besides that, these are very nice and do the job very well. But if you don't like the edges, you can just put in the extra effort yourself, get yourself a hobby knife, cut them out a little tighter than they are out of box. As for the actual build of this kit right here, it was extremely enjoyable. I loved every second of this build. Because the Zeong is such a unique design, it is a very unique build. It's got a lot of large pieces which aren't all that difficult to put together, which is always a plus when it comes to real grades, and gives it that nice, sturdy, solid build once finished. The colors of the plastics in here are fantastic. The detailing on that plastic is fantastic. The entire build of this thing is fantastic. I highly recommend it. Bandai's builds are getting more and more enjoyable as the time goes by. Once again, super highly recommended. One interesting aspect of this build is inside of the very large thrusters, there is a piece of wire used as a part. This is a red piece of wire. You just bend it into a hoop, attach it inside, and that is a pretty cool use of wire. Most of the time you can't even really see it inside of there, but if you angle it just right, look in from the bottom, there's the wire, and that's pretty cool. Also, like I mentioned, the finished build right here is as solid as a rock. You can shake the hell out of this and it won't move an inch at all. Not even a centimeter, not even a millimeter. This thing is rock solid and one hell of a design. So anyway, there's that full 360-degree spin so you can see everything for yourself just in case I forget to mention something you wanted to know about. And I'll just say here that I was never the biggest fan of the Zeong design. Actually, honestly, the reason I don't have any Zeongs is because I just don't like it. This right here, I adore, and that is a real testament to just how appealing real grade designs are. They take something that is very 70s and a bit bizarre, a bit plain at the same time, and make it so cool. It's that weird neo real grade effect. It just makes everything so cool. As for some of the highlights on here, we've got one fantastic shade of purple. I don't know how that'll turn up in the video, but it's one eye-catching color. Two shades of that blue, one light, one a little bit darker, both looking mesmerizing. The yellow on here has been split into two shades once again, giving it that extra dimension to its color scheme. So awesome. Just like with the purple, the red plastic in this kit is ridiculously vivid. And we've got some nice clear parts in the head, both in the front into that mono eye, and we also have some more up on the top of the head here. Look at that effect. And you can see through into the inner frame inside of that. The only thing that does come pre-molded on the runner are the hands. The vast majority of the completely posable hands we have in here come on pre-molded runners, so it's just 2 parts really. Clip them together, as well as the front and back armor. Next to no building involved for so much payoff. Honestly, cannot get over how much I love this. As for the leftover plastic the Zeong comes with, it's mainly some parts off of the effect runners. Of course, this will only be with the effect set version. These are from the sold separately Figurize effect set. I did do a review of that if you want to check it out. So you can buy some of the thruster boost segments separately. This runner's from the exact same kit. We've got some leftover thruster parts because it's got 5 thrusters, there was 3 on each runner. We've got these little segments here that kind of just look like big Lego parts. These came off an older kit from 2017, some kind of stand. Another leftover part from a vernier. And these are a whole bunch of stand-related segments. They're actually quite handy to hold onto if you want to pose other kits and figures. I'll pop up on the screen now what this came from. That was a kind of like scene base that was meant to look like a hanger Bandai released a few months ago. So that, once again, is sold separately too if you do not get this particular kit but want some of the parts that were in this effect set. But besides that, there's nothing really all that useful. So now moving on to some size comparisons. There it is side by side with the high grade RX-78-2 Gundam. I do not have the real grade, so that'll have to do. Next up, there it is side by side with the last real grade that came out, which is the RG Force Impulse. There it is side by side with the heavy weapon system version of the real grade new Gundam. And one of you guys on Instagram asked me to put it side by side with the Sazabi, and so yeah, it's definitely dwarfed by the Sazabi here, but if it did have legs, if Bandai did release a perfect Zeong sometime in the future, then this may be even bigger than that. If you're wondering what the perfect Zeong looks like, it looks something like this. This is what the real grade would look like, and yeah, definitely hoping we get one of those. So anyway, jumping right on back to the start one more time to take a quick look at all of those accessories one more time before we take a look at each one by one. So just in case you are curious, first off there is what comes with this kit. If you want to know what comes with the standard kit, that is that right there, which is basically the Zeong, 3 action-based parts, landing gears, and the wire. But as for what you can buy separately that is technically available on the market in one format or another, that would be all of that right there. So you can somewhat put this set together, not fully, but somewhat, with some available Bandai kits. So when it comes to stands, the Zeong right here is packing. We don't just get 1, we don't just get 2, we get 3 in here. So you only do get 1 of these large mobile suit holding arms, but we do get 2 of these supplementary ones for his arms. They all pop together a little something like that right there. And in order to display the arms floating off on their own, you just pop them off like so. Simple. Pull them out just like so. This expands them in order to get to the little clip segment. They then just attach on, simple as clipping them on like so. That is it. And then we've got these included wires in which to attach them on like the wired Saikamu weapons that they are. So wire just goes in here, then just pops in here. I will mention the reason both of these are kind of just flat on the ground like this is because these bases are a little bit on the weak side. I'm hoping the wire will help out with that. Actually, this is a pretty hefty wire, and although it won't hold them up for display on its own, mainly because it's rotating inside of the arm up here. I'll shove it in a little bit more, see what we can get. Come on. Stay airborne for me. Go on. Do it. Do it. I said do it. Do it. Yeah, you could probably pull something off, but it tends to just want to fall over. But yeah, that's a robust wire right there. Likes to rotate, though. Between the wire and the stands, however, they do seem to hold up quite well, so it seems like they're not going to work with just the stand or with just the wire, but both together, no problem whatsoever. However, there's only rotation at the bottom section here, which means posing is a little bit limited. It would have been nice to have a little bit of rotation up here as well, just to get the angles you want all of the time, but hey, you're going to get it most of the time anyway, so pretty good. We have the option of using this stand attached in this hole back here. Just take off that cover, pop them off the base, and then attach that base into that hole, like so. Yeah. Might want to change that angle a bit. There we go. So next up in here, we've got these 3 landing gears for making the landing form. In order to do that, all you have to do is detach these 3 sections from the bottom of the Zeong, attach on the landing gear parts onto those sections, reattach them all back on, and then we've got a Zeong ready to land and ready to stand. That is pretty cool. If you don't want to put them on an action base, you can leave them on the ground like so. So anyway, all of that right there is what you will get in the standard set, so everything from here on out came with the Last Shooting Special Edition set. So if you do want all of this stuff, you're going to need to pony up some more money, but once again, it is all optional. So first up in here, we've got all of the thrusters for using with the Neo Zeong. Neo Zeong? The Zeong itself. I will mention we've got one extra left over in case you've gone and lost one, but these can also be used with any kit with a 9mm peg, so these can be used on pretty much any Gundam kit somewhere. Also, did I say 9mm because I mean 3mm? I'm not talking about bullets here, but when it comes to Japanese figures and model kits, 3mm is always the diameter of the holes used in them, so it may not necessarily be where the thrust should come from, but these holes are in pretty much all gunpla. It is a little sad that Bandai hasn't made it that every backpack has them, but some kits do have those particular holes. These are way too big though for the standard Gundam right here because they won't fit in together, way too big. But it's just worth knowing that you can use these with other Gundam kits. Once again, not necessarily always in the right place, but you can use them. The smaller ones right here are sold separately, like I said earlier on in this particular kit. And that does mean they have these big, nasty holes in them that really don't look that good. That's because these can be used in a multitude of different ways. Using some balls into these sockets is one of the ways, so that means when these are attached to the Zeong, they could look a little better. But anyway, let's stick them in. So all of these just stick into the smaller thrusters around on the rear end of the Zeong. They attach in simple, tight, effective, and I'll also mention that the amount of separating panels on the Zeong skirting is ridiculously impressive. This is so unique right here. As for the bigger thrusters right here, these are unique to this kit, as are the ones you'll be using very soon on the separated arms right here, so you cannot buy these separately. Once again, exclusive. So these just stick on into the front thrusters. There are 3 pegs in these. I'm not sure, maybe 6 holes in the thrusters, so you can turn them whatever way you want. So if you want to hide the seams or make sure both aren't pointing the same direction, you can do that. Once again, hold in perfectly, look great. And honestly, this is very effective. This looks pretty dynamic. So that isn't all of the blazing glory we have in here. We also have these square burning effects as well. These are for using with these hands right here. So let's get them attached. This is incredibly simple. They just attach on into the rear of the arms like so. And there is a quick look at what those look like with those blazing thruster effects. Once again, this has changed it from such a subtle display to a really over-the-top, dynamic, burning display. If that was not enough effects for you, each of the fingers on the Zeong is a mega particle gun in itself. So that means we've got even more effect parts for attaching into those. These technically though are standard beam sabers in yellow, so you should be able to get these in other kits separately, but getting this many yellow beams may not be all that simple without having to try and cast them yourself. So if that wasn't enough crazy yellow effect parts for you yet, just take a look at that. This is off the charts when it comes to effect parts. The Neo Zeong isn't just burning up the skies, it's blowing up the skies. And just for a bit of a size reference, there is a 1/44th scale Gundam for comparison. This is crazy awesome. Next up in here, we've got these 2 brown little segments. These just attach onto the palm of the hands like so, and I'm not necessarily sure why. They might be to stop the fingers from sagging over time, keeping them all lined up for when they're firing off those mega particles. Ah, yeah, that's exactly what it's for. It's already trying to sag on me there. So yeah, they're just to try and keep those fingers from doing what they want to do, which is sag down a little bit. So that is a little bit of a cool addition. Did someone just say they want more yellow effect parts? Well, Bandai has given you more yellow effect parts. So in here we also have both a long and a short beam effect for using with the mouth particle cannon. These don't actually attach directly into the mouth, you actually have to use this little adapter segment. So in order to use these, you need that little base from before that we used with the hands. Change the adapter to this one, and then just kind of position it to the Zeong's mouth hole like so. So that is how that works out. So that's definitely a whole lot just for a beam effect, and honestly, it kind of looks like he's singing into a microphone or something. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We also have the option of an even longer beam microphone. Just stick that on like so. Get Zeong back into position, and there we go. Long microphone. That one actually looks a little bit better because of the large beam kind of detracting away from the stand a bit, but still, a stand is a little bit much. But oh no, what's that? It's that pesky Amarone's Gundam! So now that the Zeong is reduced to just a head, we're gonna need even more beam effects. So using 1 adapter, 2 adapters, and 3 adapters, you can now attach the Zeong's head to that action base. So now we've got even more thruster effect parts for under here. There's one. There is the second one. We also have some articulation which can move from there all the way to the back like so you can display it moving in whichever direction you like. And the mono eye can also move side to side when you twist the neck, which is pretty cool. So now that we've got the Zeong decapitated, it's time to set up the last shooting scene that you can with this particular set. So in order to do that, you take one of the action bases, attach on one of those hanger base walls. With some of the adapters that came in this box, you can attach another set of hanger base walls on top. Use these little arm sections. These do come with the standard hanger bases, but the adapter attaching into the neck of the Zeong does not. Then you have to disassemble the head of the Zeong ever so slightly. This isn't the most pleasant experience, and when you finally do get it up there, kind of looks like one of those animal heads in a wall displays. Yeah, just leaving it like that would look pretty funny. So next up we've got some more beam effects. These are for the Gundam. These are in pink. Attach these together like so. This then attaches onto the side of the Zeong's head like that. Then we have these parts in here, which is a broken shoulder and a broken neck, as well as an extra hand for using with the real grade RX-78-2 Gundam, which I do not have. So I'm just going to take the Yokohama Gundam, the non-grade one here, just as a stand-in. This cannot use those parts, however, those are just for using with the real grade, but this is just kind of to set up the scene a little here. Stick the gun in the end, put them down here like so. We have a little bit of a free peg down below to attach in the Zeong's beam, like that. And finally, there's what that last shooting effect scene will look like when it's all put together. Once again, this is not the real grade Gundam here. This is just the no grade Yokohama version. So this will look a whole lot better with the real grade in there with those broken parts on. But yeah, there it is in all of its glory. So now moving on to the articulation, and first off, a little bit of a comment on the build. This thing is solid as rock. So awesome. These mini master grade style real grades blow the early ones away completely. This is a beautiful kit that is also rock solid. So as for the moving parts in here, we've already seen that you can move its earlobes back and forward, as well as the fact that its eyes move from side to side as the neck is turned, which is such a cool mechanism. And if that wasn't enough, this kit keeps doing more than it needs to with every aspect of its being. So you can just pop off the top of the head like so, as well as remove this gray segment. Then you can change the angle of that mono eye in there. Then reassembling the head without putting that gray part back in, you can actually have the mono eye look through the top of its head. That is so cool. The side to side movement action is still maintained, so you can have it look side to side inside of its forehead. That is so cool. Spinning around to the back of his head then, and we've got a cockpit hatch that opens up just like so. There's a lot going on inside the neck of the Zeong here. There's the head all the way back. There it is all the way to the front. So there's joints up here, then joints in the torso. So a lot of joints. I will mention because the mechanism in the neck, you can only turn from here to here, that is all. You could get more out of it just by disconnecting the head and attaching it on further around if you really did need it turned more. Making our way down, we also have a secondary cockpit hatch down here. I assume this is the original cockpit hatch before it lost its head. Opens like so, closes like that. Each of these thrusters on the upper body, when moved out like so, open up. So it's a bit of a seamless mechanism. So there's it open, there it is closed. Once again, that is the same all the way around the torso. Pretty cool. This is also attached to the waist moving mechanism. So if you kick back the body all the way, those front ones kick out just like so for some back thrusting action. The same goes around back. If you swing it all the way forward, those back ones pop out. That is some cool technical detail there. And if that was not enough waist action, it can also hyperextend all the way back like so, which is incredible. Look at that. It gives it so much character. And there it is then all the way to the front for some over-the-top killer poses. You can get so much out of this. Not so much side to side, but still pretty good side to side. This is incredible. Up to the shoulders now. There is the arm all the way up. There it is all the way down. Shoulder is slightly separate. Remove the head just for a second to test that full 360 spin. No bother. Next up, there it is all the way to the front. Very nice. All the way to the back. That is really good. Whoa, you can get even more out of that. Pull it out. Bring it forward. Spin it round. Hey, wait a minute. Is it possible? Yeah, pretty much the Zeong here can fold its arms. That I love. I love it when a model kit can do that. Seriously, how badass is that? Full rotation at the upper arm. Not one, but two bends there at the elbow. I felt a third, I think. For a very nice elbow bend. Extending forearm. The wrist is double jointed, ball joint in there. Hinge joint then right here. For a ridiculous amount of articulation right here. And speaking of a ridiculous amount of articulation, yup, it passes the test with flying colors and can stick it to the perfect grade unleashed because it has fully posable hands. So when it comes to the skirting section down here, it would take me forever to talk about everything that is going on here. There's so many moving hatches on ball joints and hinges that it is incredible. The amount of flavor this adds to the Zeong is off the charts. This is so cool. It just makes it so unique. Instead of always being just that flat, standard Zeong lower body, there's so much going on here and it adds so much dimension to this kit. I can't get over this. So much going on with these panels, and I adore it. Each one of these thrusters down here features both a hinge to bend in and out like that, as well as a point of rotation. They can kind of clang off each other a little bit, but they can rotate like that to there, this one from there to there, so there's a lot of character down here too. This, man, Bandai really are giving real grades. All the bells and whistles. These ones right here, the big ones, can move forward and back like this. Hopefully we'll be seeing some legs on there soon. And we also have a locking mechanism here. This moves up like so. You can then slide this all the way back like that. Lock it back into position. And you get even more than out of these thrusters. So you can bring them all the way forward like that. I mean, seriously, pop in those effects once again. 1 and 2. And you've got yourself some screeching brakes right there. Man. Seriously, I love this kit. If you are a fan of inner frames, this thing has everything. Just look at all of that structural detail in there. That is so nice. Attention to detail, wow. Seriously, wow. Seriously though, the amount of technical aspects, moving parts, the level of detail, everything that's crammed into this and it's still solid as a rock, what Bandai is doing with model kits these days is nothing short of pure art. Honestly though, my mind constantly being blown by this. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and you can probably guess this without a single doubt is Gundarium tier. And just in case you don't know, my ranking system is bronze tier is bad, silver tier is good, gold tier is better than good, platinum tier is as good as it gets, and Gundarium tier is when a model kit feels like it has transcended its grade, which is a little hard to say here because real grade keeps getting better and better and better. But if I take this compared to the last real grade, which was released, which was the platinum tier, RG Force Impulse Gundam, this is definitely bringing a whole lot more to the table than that did. It was a fantastic kit, but this one is better in a lot of regards. The detail, the part separation, the sheer amount of things going on inside of this is off the charts entirely, and it has fully posable fingers pre-molded out of the box, which are fantastic. What can I say? If you love model kits, you will love this, regardless of whether or not you like Gundam, like the old school Gundam series, or like the Zeong. It's just that good. That goes for either version of this kit. It is the model kit of the Zeong itself that is fantastic. As for all of the stuff that comes in the last shooting box, it's all alright. It does all enhance the Zeong experience without a doubt, but nothing in there is as mind-blowing as the mobile suit itself. Is this a mobile suit? Is it a mobile armor? Either way, it is awesome. Once again, the last shooting version may be hard to get now because it was a Expo exclusive and a first release exclusive, but if you do want the standard version, there is a link down there in the description, and you can get yours at HobbyLink Japan. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time. As usual, I cannot end this video without all my thanks to all of you who support me on the channel memberships, as well as over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Tyler Sanders, the ambassador for Asymmetric Cats, Caleb Engelhart, and Sean T.